Hey guys, it's Pastor Brian, and you finally made it. We're on week 5, day 28 of the Grid series. I hope you've been taking this challenge. I hope you've been having these conversations with your family or your small group or your mentor, and I hope you've been doing the daily Bible readings every day. And if you have, then you've learned almost everything that you need to know about having the grid of Jesus. Today is just one last thing you need to be equipped with before you go out into the world, because here's what we don't want to happen. Now that you have a biblical perspective, now that you're ready to go all in with your faith, we don't want you to go into the world and be a jerk about it. Did you know that Jesus did not go into the world with those mentalities? Jesus went into the world with truth and with love, and he had this incredible ability to combine those two things. And we want to make sure that you learn to do the very same thing. So today, we're going to take a look at a story in the New Testament where Jesus was confronted by some people with opposing worldviews, and we're going to show you what he did to balance truth and love. All right, the story comes from John chapter 8, and these religious guys brought this woman caught in adultery, and they brought her before Jesus, once again trying to trap Jesus, and they said, listen, we should stone this woman, right? That's what the law says to do. And Jesus responded with 4 brilliant responses that we can learn from in our lives today. First, Jesus paused. They were trying to trap him into saying something that they could use against him, but Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his finger. Now, we don't really know what Jesus wrote in the dust with his finger, but what we do know is that he paused. He didn't respond right away. And I think that's helpful for you. You know, when you're going out into the world and you're equipped with this new worldview and you feel strongly about the truth of God and you want to share it with people in the world, but you've got all these other people who see the world differently. Just slow down. Just pause and be prepared to give a good answer. That's the first thing. Here's the second thing. Jesus showed courage. It says that they kept demanding an answer, so he stood up again and he said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone. And then he stooped down again and he continued to write in the dust. You know, that response took some guts on the part of Jesus. Jesus wasn't just like, yeah, you're right, I'm just going to believe what you're saying. No, Jesus knew where he was heading. We're going to see it here in a second. But Jesus stepped out, he was clever about it, and he was strong, and he was courageous about it. And you might need to do the same thing in your context as you go into the world. You might need to be girded with strength and courage and be ready to share truth. Be ready to stand for truth. Now, you have to be wise about it. You have to do it in love. But be ready to share and speak out the truth. That's what Jesus did. But then he began to focus on the woman. Now, I wonder what the woman was thinking right here. I mean, being a witness to this, she's expecting to be stoned. This is what they did in their culture. But here's what Jesus did. Jesus got personal. Take a look at the verse. Jesus stood up again and said to the woman, where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you? And she said, no, Lord. And so Jesus said, neither do I. Notice that Jesus didn't try to deal with her personal sin issue in front of a bunch of people. He waited until all of the people were gone, and then he just got relational with her, right? He showed that he loved her. He showed that he cared about her. You know, if you're going to go out into the world, you're going to have courage when you're dealing with people like the Pharisees, people with strong opposing opinions, these strong worldviews. But when you deal with people like this woman, you're going to have to be relational. You're going to have to love them. I hope when you go out into the world, you're not thinking, I'm just going to try to ramrod truth down everyone's throat. Jesus didn't do that. He said, listen, I love you. I care about you. You mean something. People in your world aren't going to listen to you if they don't think you care about them. Jesus knew that, and that's why Jesus got personal. But there's one more thing, because at the end of the day, Jesus got to the truth. It says in verse 11, Jesus said to the woman, go and sin no more. That's why this passage is so important for us today. If you have been equipped and armed with a biblical worldview, if you're a follower of Jesus now, he wants you to go out into the world and go all in with your faith and go make disciples and share your faith with someone, you have to be willing to share the truth. At some point, we don't just say, oh, it's okay, just do what you want. Follow your heart, do what you think is right. Well, no, we've already learned that those are dangerous ideas. We need to be able to stand like Jesus did, and after showing love and concern and showing compassion and being in relationship, we still need to speak the truth. That's what Jesus did for this woman. You know, we don't really know how this woman responded at the end of the day. We don't know if she became a Christian. We don't know if she ever had her defining moment of faith and put her faith in Jesus. We don't know that. But we do know how Jesus responded. And the way Jesus responded, the way Jesus went into the world with his grid, is the way each one of us who are followers of Jesus should go into the world with our Christian grid. If we see the world like Jesus did, then we need to live in the world and go into the world like Jesus did. Jesus was a man on a mission, and I hope that you would be a person on mission with Jesus. Go into the world and share the truth in love. Hey guys, thanks for taking this grid series. Now we're done. After you've had this conversation using the questions below with your family or your small group or your mentor, we're done. But I encourage you to check out our other series online at PursueGOD.org. And also make sure to check out all of the topics that we have on mentoring so that you can learn to go full circle and learn how to use our resources in your world, helping people in your world to pursue God, because that's what a follower of Jesus does. So we'll see you in the next series.